We have two questions in the how to fix plantar fasciitis, kind of heel pain, shin splints for guys. We'll start with the first question: how to fix plantar fasciitis, heel pain, shin splints for guys in the military, like that are always doing endurance stuff and always on their feet.
It's always good to know what the reason for the plantar fasciitis is, because some people say, "Oh, I have plantar fasciitis," they assume it's the same thing. Now, typical treatment of plantar fasciitis is they stretch you, they put you on a sling, and they pull your dorsiflexion, right? Which is absolutely wrong. Plantar fasciitis is actually an imbalance between your plantar flexor and dorsiflexors. How often do you dorsiflex? The only time you do is when you're basically walking.
Yeah.
But how often do you lift weights and do plantar flexion?
Very rare, like triple extension.
All the time. No, all the time you're doing calf raises.
Yeah,
You plantar flexion, plantar flexion, plantar flexion. How often do you see lifting weights, dorsiflexion? Remember when I used to make you hold the dumbbell and dorsiflexion and lift it up with your legs?
Yeah, the anterior tip to the plantar flexion. Yeah.
Absolutely. So what happens in the majority of people, okay, I'm jumping, so you're plantar flexing.
Yeah.
But before you plantar flex, you have to load up with what? You're bending
Dorsiflexion, knee over toe concept.
Plantar flexion, absolutely. But eventually, the dorsiflexion becomes weaker because gravity is allowing you to do the dorsiflexion. You're bending your knees, so the plantar flexors have to use concentric, eccentric. The dorsiflexion don't have to do almost non-concentric.
So you should train much farther on the
absolutely.
plantar
You should actually balance
flexion.
it. You should balance the dorsiflexion versus the plantar flexion. So almost everybody that comes into my office with the plantar fasciitis, I make them work so hard those dorsiflexors that they say, "Hey, I have pain. I cannot walk when I'm laying down. As soon as I get up, I'm gonna have pain." As soon as I make the dorsiflexion, they get up and they're like, "Whoa, I don't have pain." So I want you to bear with me here for a second. So I'm plantar flexing, my dorsiflexion is weaker than my plantar flexion. So now I start slapping almost the floor. I don't notice that, but that's micro trauma to my plantar fascia because my dorsiflexors can fight the plantar flexion.
I got you.
Now you got it?
Yeah.
Now you can see it.
Yeah.
Now all I do in my office is I'm going to strengthen your dorsiflexion. Now when you walk, you're not smacking your fascia.
Yes.
You're actually slowly, eccentrically loading your dorsiflexors. And now they're working, which prevents that micro trauma. So 99% of the plantar fasciitis, you start doing training with dorsiflexion. Now people do not know how to train dorsiflexion because I'm going to do dorsiflexion, so they sit there on the chair and they put their legs straight and they start doing dorsiflexion.
With just the ankle off the table too, yeah.
That's right. That is wrong. You have to dorsiflex with your legs straight. You need to dorsiflex with your legs bended. Because when you're going to jump, what do you do with your legs? Your knees. You bend them. That's gravity. You need to train the dorsiflexors to be able to do any eccentric loading that they can, even with knee bend or leg straight.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I used to make you do all that crap all the time.
Yeah.
So, do you ever have plantar fasciitis?
No.
Thank you. That answered your question. So if you're going to have plantar fasciitis, make sure that you do train your dorsiflexors as much as you don't stretch your fascia, because I see the people doing all the time. It does not work.
Just tears.
I mean, you try and it doesn't work. It helps you relieve pain at that moment in time, but it doesn't fix the mechanical issue.
Is there some crossover here too for the shin splints? How to treat that?
Absolutely. And I think that Alex wants to say something about this.
No, you got to cover in this one.
Okay, so it's kind of interesting because shin splints are also a weakness. Now, you have deep muscles in the calf. And when I'm examining a person with, I got to be even more broad here. There are two types of shin splints. There's mechanical, or three types: mechanical. Let's call it two because mechanical can be musculoskeletal and neurological. Okay, and neurological is going to include chemistry. And the reason I want to include chemistry is because if you have a deficiency on zinc or boron, you develop shin splints. That is crazy. So be aware of, I know people are going to go there, I'm going to go check my zinc. You cannot check your zinc by itself. This is pretty cool here. You need to check zinc copper ratio, and you have to do it on plasma. Has to be, let me repeat this, has to be plasma. And the numbers are going to come between 70 and 120, both numbers. And they usually tell you that copper should be a little higher than zinc. Never I have a person with shin splint that the zinc was higher than the copper. Now, I have a lot of people that have shin splint when the copper was higher than the zinc. So be aware of that. That's a note one there.
There's something there for like overall stress in general too, correct?
That is correct. Number 2, boron. When boron is low, especially in females, they will get almost every female with 0 boron or low boron will get shin splints. You correct the boron, the shin splints go away. So that's the neuromuscular chemical imbalance there. I'm going to do now the mechanical. There are some deep flexors and extensors within the shin bone or the tibia in which are behind. If we are looking at the camera, I don't know if the camera can see it. I'm going, pull your pants up there. So this is your tibia right here. I'm going to go deep into your tibia behind it. And I don't know if plantar flex for a second. Can you feel that muscle there? Those are weakened by shoes, the type of shoes you wear. For example, football players tape their feet and they tape the shoes and then they tape again on top of it.
Spat, yeah.
Yes, which actually weakens the muscles within the freaking feet, which makes you more propense to having injuries or having all kind of issues, especially with your hamstrings, because now a secret here for all those losers out there, I'm doing leg curls. Actually, what controls your hamstrings is your big toe. If you don't believe me, Brian have a lot of experience with this. You move that toe up and down, and you can feel actually your hamstrings working. Even if I'm going to dorsiflex my feet here, and I'm going to move my toe, you can feel it all the way down to your hamstrings. The reason is flexion of the hamstrings is controlled by that plantar flexion of that little or big toe. Remember that. And I can show you later more exercise that will do justice to that. But be aware of imbalances, mechanical and neuromuscular or chemical, are part of the shin splints.
Is there something in particular? Because like I think this guy's in reference to like obviously like military that does and get that. So it's like, okay, fix my zinc and copper ratio, add the boron, and then do
wait
the
a second. Military people, it's a little different because I have a lot of military people.
Yeah.
What happens to military people? They wear boots. Have you seen the boots they wear?
Yeah.
They go up to mid-shin.
Clunks,
right? Well, I'm glad that's a cool name, clunks. Okay, what happens when you do that? First of all, you cause a chemical reaction because you tie your boots, they have to be really tight, which causes friction and causes lack of oxygen. Now you're tying. It's like having compression on the air.
It's almost like BFR.
It is a type of BFR, but now you're doing it 4 hours out, which is, you can't do it. So that affects that. Be aware that also by me doing that, and Alex, can I borrow your beautiful, sexy leg again? I'm going to hold Alex's foot right here. I'm going to tie my shoe. Okay, go ahead and dorsiflex. Alex, what's happening? It's harder.
With the tension. He's squeezing just above the ankle on the front and just like...
Absolutely. You are creating a friction weakness of that dorsiplantar flexion issue. That's when you take those boots out or start doing dorsiflexion exercise with the boots on.
Yeah.
Which is... Actually, if that person is a military person, what I want you to do is this. Wear your boots or your shoes that you're going to usually use. Put a dumbbell on the dorsal part of your foot and start sitting down and start elevating your foot or flex your hip up and down, holding that weight. If the person is between 20 and 40 years old, he should be able to do a 40-pounder. Very easy. Yeah. As you get stronger, you can go up to 80s or 90s, right? And
usually a kettlebell works best, obviously, yeah.
Absolutely. The only with kettlebell is when you hold it, the kettlebell doesn't let you go all the way down because it's below you. The dumbbells let you go all the way down and up because they're at the level of the foot.
Yeah, I just so I've done these before, so I struggle with the balance sometimes. So like when I get the
so Brian is being a wussy.
I sit on a higher fucking box. Take it easy, so the kettlebell doesn't hit the ground.
I want balance.
I'm trying to get veteran moves out. All right, but
but you can also do it with bands, which is easier. If you don't have the set of the dumbbells, get a band. Like I would say, use a purple band, tie it to the outside, or put the table on top of each side of the band, and you sit there, put your foot under the band, and just try to lift it up.
Yeah, we've done these hanging as well, where like
that is correct.
So you're like full extension, then like obviously like you're like a few inches off the ground. The two bands are tied to the bottoms of the rack, and you just pull, and it's like it turns into hip flexion work as well. But so in that same realm, this is a basketball question geared at the same deal, like. feet, like how do you train basketball players' feet performance, particularly for stress fractures and plantar fascia? Same thing, correct?
That is correct. And again, be aware that stress fractures can be a deficiency on boron, and almost 99% of the time when I have a stress fracture, they have a deficiency on boron. And a boron is an easy blood test. It's cheap. You don't have to worry about it.